All right. Hey, have you struggled getting to the bathroom in time because you couldn't open the door handle? Gar! Ugh, if you have, welcome to Toilet Talk, the show that loves pretty potties and hates ugly medical equipment. My name is Maria Lindbergh, and I'm the owner of Stay at Home Solutions and Hard Time Wiping. And so now I'm going to go ahead and ask my special guest today to join me. So let me go ahead and click the add. We're going to add you, Miss Amelia. The request, Amelia. So Amelia Borland is the president and CEO of Higher Standards Caregiver Training. And so I just invited her to join or to join me live. There we go. Amelia, welcome to Toilet Talk.
I did it. I did it. Hold on, let me take my blue blockers off so that I don't have a bunch of glare there. Okay, that's better.
Oh, well, they were a good look for you. So, I mean, you do what you want. Welcome to Toilet Talk. I was just saying that you're the president and CEO of Higher Standards Caregiver Training.
Yeah.
What else would you like to add to that?
Well, so I'm an occupational therapist, as you are, and what I do is I specialize in training caregivers, both professional and family caregivers, kind of from all walks of life, to help make sure that they can keep, of course, the people that they're caring for safe, but also keep themselves as caregivers safe too, because if they don't, then there's no one there to do the job. So their health is just as important as the people that they're caring for. I also want to say I love talking about toileting. So yes. I am so excited to be here and do this with you today.
Thank you so much. I'm trying to do a glow up for the background set. I used to have like this terrible like Toilet Talk decoration behind me, but I'm actually in the bathroom. That's how I like to do it. And so yeah, I love toileting too, obviously. So I'm so glad you are here. So with bathroom door handles, I certainly personally have experienced having a hard time opening the bathroom door, especially when you have to go so bad. And I wanted to share a story to start off, and I want you to, share your experience too, or if you have a similar story. So
sure.
Something that's like the worst moment that happened when I worked in rehab, I had this older gentleman. He was ready to go home. He had done all his rehab. He was getting better. He was like, I'm ready to go home. So before he was discharged, we went to his home and did an assessment, made sure that things were set up for him to be safe and to go back home with his wife. So we were driving in the van from the rehab center, and he said that he had to go to the bathroom, or that was the first thing he wanted to do when he got home. And I was like, yep, that'll be number one, no worries. So we get back home, and he's going through his garage from the driveway, and he got into the home, and now he's starting to panic. Like, I really got to go. Like, the bladder is full. So he went to his bathroom door. He's using a walker, and he had the hardest time opening the doorknob. I eventually had to do it, and he just like ran in there. It was so unsafe. He was like arms flailing, walker to the side.
Full panic situation, it sounds
yes.
like. Full panic. Yeah.
Yes, total panic. He was like, he would rather, well, he told me, he's like, I would rather fall than wet myself. And I totally get it. It's so embarrassing to have accidents, especially when you're, just trying to get into your bathroom and you haven't been home for a long time. But I'm just like, oh my gosh, how did the doorknob? That was the only thing. The doorknob was the thing that blocked him, and it made it hard. And it was a doorknob just like a regular doorknob you've seen anywhere else. Have you seen that too?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And doorknobs can be a huge barrier, not even just for, seniors who might be coming home from rehab, but honestly, folks with arthritis have a really hard time with those kind of round standard doorknobs. They can cause joint damage in folks who have rheumatoid arthritis. Even people with things like like totally orthopedic wrist injuries or hand injuries, all of these, my children, you know,
Yes.
like basically everyone in the world at some point, if it hasn't been you yet, just wait. At some point, you will be blocked from the toilet by a round door handle. It's going to happen.
Yes. And oh my gosh, you know, speaking of children, my 2-year-old, so we have a lever style handle that's at our main entry to come into the house. Well, guess who can open that, but who can't open the bathroom door at the same time? That's my kiddo. And it's all because the lever style handle is so much easier for people of all ages and abilities to use. And we have round doorknobs on the bathroom door. So, I mean, kind of nice for mommy's private time, but you know what I mean?
Yes, yes.
I don't want that to be, you know, a barrier to her. It just kind of shows like, oh, wow, it does make a difference in what kind of handle you have on your door.
Sure. And it's so funny because, like, you probably do want her to be able to use the toilet independently, but you probably don't want her to be able to escape the house.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, we kind of have the opposite problem. Yeah, she could totally like hit out of she could run down the street, no problem. Oh my God.
But that's such a good point. Like a lever handle is just universally accessible for pretty much. And I mean, you could do it with your face if you had to. You can access it in pretty much any way if you've got that lever. But if you have a round knob, it's just infinitely more difficult and requires infinitely more strength, stability, you know, all of these things that go into grasping that handle and turning it. So it's a huge limiting factor for a lot of people in a place where we never want to limit people in the restroom.
Oh, no, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's so easy to be limited, and you, like, no matter who it is, like, it's a dignity thing too. Like, we want people to be able to use the bathroom on their own, obviously. I mean, I want it to be that way. I never want it to be difficult. And so for people who are like, what the heck is a lever handle? Let me quickly show you. I have a picture on my laptop. I mean, we could go on a field trip in my house, but you know. So that is a lever style handle where it just sticks straight out. And there are, for some people, I do recommend if there's like a little like curl towards the door, like a little curl or like a C or a D shape kind of towards the door in case your hand slips off of it while you're trying to push it down to open it. And I just, while I have my screen handy, I'm also going to show, here's some doorknobs that I absolutely hate, like these styles of pulls that where it's so like you have to stick your finger in that hole to get the circle out and grip the circle. I hate those. I hate those. I hate those. I mean, those are, you know, the traditional doorknobs we've been talking about the whole time. So yeah, those other kinds of doorknobs are so difficult if you're somebody who, like you mentioned, somebody who has arthritis or any other kind of finger problems or anything in the wrist that makes it difficult. And while lever handles, you said, like, you could use your face, you could use the palm of your hand, you can like close your fist, use your forearm, use your elbow, use your foot. I use my foot too, like to open it.
I remember actually, so I broke my arm a couple of times when I was a kid, my right arm. So, and I'm right-handed, so that's naturally what I reach for everything with. And I remember like being in a cast and not being able to open the door to the bathroom because like the cast was so fat in my palm that I couldn't, like, I was just like barely getting a grip on it. And I actually have no recollection of how that problem was solved. Probably I just left the bathroom door open, much to the dismay of the rest of my family. But I mean, it just goes to show like anyone, any age, anytime can be limited. And it's so, you know, it's one of those things like if you have the opportunity, if you're doing some remodeling anyway, it doesn't cost more to get a lever handle than it does to get a traditional round handle. So if it's something that you're already doing and you're thinking about aging in place or just generally making your house accessible to anyone who might be in it, be it you or a visitor or someone like that, it just makes sense to, think about doing a lever handle instead of those other ones. And, if it is a matter of maybe you're not remodeling, but you're willing to spend 10 or 15 or 20 bucks, that's a really small cost versus the cost of not being able to get into the restroom.
Oh my gosh, that is such a great point. Yeah, if you're remodeling anyway, or just selecting the doors in your house that are the most important to have lever style handles, like the bathroom door or your entry. I mean, to me, in my mind, in my house, those are the most important doors to have lever handles on. And so without a doubt in my household, I mean, yeah, right now I have the doorknobs, but without a doubt, those are going to go away so that it's so much easier to get in and out.
It was actually one of the first things when my husband and I were really fortunate. We got to do a little bit of remodeling a few years ago, and it was literally like the first thing on my list. I tried to OT my house as much as possible to make it universally accessible. And I think I probably annoyed some people about it, but we have lever handles everywhere, and it's great for my kids. It's great for people who come to visit. There are aftermarket products too that you can buy. I don't know if you were going to go over any of those or not, that you can buy that go over a round handle. There are several different product names. I don't necessarily endorse one brand or another, but those can be a really inexpensive option too. That can make it, often they don't make it as easy as just having a lever handle on there, but they can increase your ability to grip the handle and turn it a little bit more easily for folks who maybe for whatever reason replacing that door handle isn't possible. Maybe you don't own your home and you don't want to bother with changing that in and out, or whatever the reason is, that those can be good options too, folks.
Yes, I love that you brought that up. Those are pretty inexpensive, and it's nice that they don't last forever. It's really like a temporary kind of thing. So I know, at least I've worked in some senior communities where for some reason they have doorknobs. And so, yeah, I know. And so, that's something I brought up to some buildings, and they said, oh, well, we want to have a uniform aesthetic and we don't want to replace the doorknobs. And so in those cases, that has been really nice to have those overextenders or, whatever brand put on the doorknob so that it's easier to turn them. So yeah, that's a really great temporary solution for sure.
So this isn't, I don't want to derail here. Am I derailing if I, okay.
No, we're an open, we go all over toilet talk.
So I want it, because in kind of preparing for this, I wanted to think about, well, what are some other issues that people should be aware of when it comes to the doorknobs into and out of their bathroom? And something that immediately popped up for me was that a lot of times in really small bathrooms, sometimes the doorknob handle can actually be in reach of the toilet. And I have seen before people who might need a little bit more support getting up or down actually reach and grab onto that handle as a support method for standing up. And that's not a great idea for a few reasons. I see you nodding emphatically, so I'm just going to let you chime in.
No, I was going to say I can't handle it when people do that. No, I'm nodding because I can't tell you how many people have told me that they do that. Where they, where I didn't see it, because sometimes, I've gone to people's houses and I see them do it. I've had so many more people tell me that's what they do to get up. So what do you what's your number one tip to tell people to kind of get them to avoid doing that?
Well, I mean, I like to just kind of explain a little bit about, like, so the handle is just not built to hold your weight. That's usually what I start out about talking about. The handle itself is not built to hold your weight. The door actually, the hinges of the door are also not built to hold your weight. So I kind of talk about it from those two different aspects. So a lot of times when people go to grab that door handle, it's because they feel like they just need a little extra support. They just need a third touch point for balance. And so often we're not thinking about the fact that if you really put a lot of weight on it, it's not built to support that, and it can actually, it can turn. This is a mobile device.
Yeah.
It is meant to move. So if you grab onto either a lever handle or a traditional round doorknob and you are really weighting it, there's a fair chance that that is actually going to turn under your weight, which means that it's no longer a stable device. As you turn, it could actually cause that fall to occur that you're trying to avoid in the first place. The other thing is, again, it's just not built to hold the weight of a human body up on, and neither are the hinges of those doors. They're really truly built to hold the weight of the door only. And honestly, depending on how long those screws are that go in and hold in the hinge of the door, they may be only barely built to even hold that as well. So when you put a lot of weight on that handle, which is far away from the hinges, it puts a lot of stress on them, and the whole door can in fact come out of the wall. So it's well worth it to, you know, thinking about all of the costs associated with that, like the potential cost of having a fall, which no one wants. It's not worth it in any way, shape, or form. The potential cost of ripping your door off the hinges. And then worst case scenario, you both go down and the door lands on top of you.
Yeah.
It just is like, it's just not worth it. So it makes it really easy then to make that decision to think about, okay, well, if you need help to get up, what are some maybe safer options? Does there need to be a bedside commode over this toilet that you can push from? Do you need a higher toilet? Do you need a really stylish grab bar over here? You know, there are options to meet really, truly just about any budget and any aesthetic in any bathroom. We can always make that work, right?
Yes.
But we want to make it work in a way that you're going to use it, that is pleasing to you, and that genuinely makes you safer. But there's always a way to get that done, right?
Yes, absolutely. Amen to that. That is for sure. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so many good points. So many good points. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm just thinking of all the people who have fallen that way, who I've worked with in rehab or in the hospital. And it's so, you know, you feel bad for those people. And that's why, like, I bring up this topic because, I mean, not to feel pity on other people, but I would hate for something so preventable to happen to somebody else. And this is something, you know, just putting a lever style handle on your door or making a couple simple changes to help you get up and down off the toilet a little easier. That can save you from injury, embarrassment, you know, bills that can result from, you know, whatever.
Sure.
There's so many, that's why it's like, oh my gosh, you know, it's just a door handle. No, it's not just a door handle. This is your life. And this is something that is just so crazy simple to prevent from happening. So any other door handle tips or anything else?
I don't think so. I think that's going to be like my catchphrase for the day, though. It's never just a door handle.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, it's never just anything, right? But like really, really, when it comes to the bathroom, it's never just a door handle. It can affect every aspect of your ability to toilet safely. So who knew?
I know. It's so, you don't think about it, but it's like, oh wait, actually this is super important. So yeah. Amelia, tell the people where they can find you.
Okay, so you can find if you want direct access to full training courses, then you can find me on my website. That's at www.higherstandardscaregivertraining.com. You can also find me on YouTube. Just go to YouTube and search Higher Standards Caregiver Training. You can watch a bunch of videos there. I go over a lot of fun stuff. You can follow and subscribe to me there. You can find me on TikTok at Higher Standards Caregiver. I am now, thanks to Maria and Toilet Talk, I am now on Instagram too. So I guess I'll have to start posting here also at Higher Standards Caregiver. And you can find me on LinkedIn. Just search for Amelia Borland or Higher Standards Caregiver Training. So I'm all over the place. I try to put a lot of helpful content out as much as possible so that, you know, like Maria, we can really get the word out about these issues that really, they seem small, but truly, they can significantly impact and change lives, because as OTs, that's what we are supposed to do.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Do you have any events coming up or anything coming on the calendar that people need to mark down?
Oh gosh, not that I can think of right now, to be honest with you, no, but I am definitely check out any of those social media channels. You can also, if you go to higherstandardscaregivertraining.com, you can find my email there and shoot me an email if you have a question about anything. I'm always kind of putting together like fun new content and events for caregivers. So definitely this is going to be fun. I have a character called Captain Caregiver that I like to dress up as, and my dog is the Higher Standards Hound. And of course, you know, it's really about caregivers being superheroes, because caregivers out there, they are the real superheroes of the world. So for Halloween, we're going to have a little caregiver dress up challenge.
Wow.
And caregivers all over to put together their own superhero outfits and show off the amazing people that they are. So I'm really looking forward to that, but I haven't actually talked about that with anyone yet. So this is like the first announcement of that. If you check out the YouTube channel, there's going to be more information coming out there about the challenge and all that fun stuff. So people can definitely look at that to find out more about putting together their own superhero costumes, because they are real life superheroes.
That is, oh, I love that so much, especially for some, I mean, I'm sure there's some crafty people out there who can like really wow. So that's going to be so awesome. It just makes me think, you know, I do want to say, when I was a caregiver to my grandparents, I did not realize I was a caregiver, even though, or at the beginning anyway, I didn't realize I was a caregiver, even though I was helping like get groceries and take out the trash and do those kinds of things. And so for anyone who's watching and you're like, oh, you know, I help out, you know, my family member every once in a while, that means you are a caregiver. So technically
Absolutely.
you can participate in Amelia's Halloween contest.
Yes, yes. Come on. I'm embarrassingly uncrafty for an occupational therapist. Like famously, anyone who doesn't know, we're all supposed to be very crafty, and I'm the worst. So my like Captain Caregiver outfit is the most basic thing on earth. I cannot wait to see how people just like blow it out of the water with what they come up with. That's going to be really exciting.
Yeah, you know, okay, so we both share that in common, because I feel like I'm not, you know, the spatial intelligence is not there, you know, I just, which is not, you know, you would be like, oh God, but you do environmental modifications, like what? But no, when it comes to like creating a costume or doing something, it just doesn't, I'm more of like the Pinterest, like nailed it, or, you know, anyway, it's always a bad idea if it's coming from me. So that is so exciting. But I do want to emphasize before we wrap up, like if you really need to check out higherstandardscaregivertraining.com, because Amelia does amazing live caregiver training to people, and you're just so thorough, and I just know like people are benefiting like from your knowledge and expertise, and And just, I mean, just like any OT, we tailor our teachings to people. So it's not like a cookie cutter training that you're giving everybody. You're making it specifically for that person who you're training.
Yeah. So there are a couple of different, if we have a couple of minutes, is it okay if I can, okay.
Yeah.
So there are a couple of different ways people can access the training. So a lot of what I have available on Higher Standards Caregiver Training it's things focused on like transfer techniques, how to use specific equipment, how do you safely care for someone at a bed level, how do you manage different things like bathing and, kind of just different types of movement strategies and tasks, all the way from like very basic, here's how you protect your back to do these things, all the way up to caring for folks who have Parkinson's disease, folks who might have amputations, so kind of there's on-demand content there for anyone, for a huge variety of subjects, and hopefully that can meet a lot of needs. But as you said, I absolutely do, for members of Higher Standards Caregiver Training, I do live trainings every month for those caregivers where we can all get on. As you can see behind me, I'm not sure how well you can see, I've got my big training room behind me where I've got everything from bedpans and catheters to, my big dummy that I work with and all that stuff, so that we can go over those weird things that happen when it's real life and you're a caregiver and there's just not a way, we can't predict everything. So it's so important to have those live trainings available to caregivers so that they can come and get their questions asked, they can get them answered, and also just come together as a community and realize like caregiving can be really lonely, but you are not alone. There are so many caregivers out there. And there are folks like Maria and I here to support you. So take advantage of it. That's what we're here for.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing more about what you offer to people. I love it so much. Well, I guess we should go ahead and say goodbye on Toilet Talk. I know. Thank you so much. I know. Thank you. Thank you so much, Amelia. I just want to say, if you haven't liked and followed me on Instagram, my handle is @hardtimewiping. Toilet Talk is most Tuesdays on Instagram Live at 12 Central Standard Time. So please do join if you miss out. All of these episodes are on IGTV on my account. And let's see what else. Oh yeah, we're also on virtual care, virtualcarewithak.com. So Amelia, thank you so much again for coming on Toilet Talk. It was a blast, girl. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for having me. It was, I could talk about this stuff all day. So it's such a pleasure to talk about toileting with someone who is as passionate about it as I am. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thanks so much. Have a good rest of your day.
All right, you too. Bye.
Bye.